Anderson, and he got all these people to give money to the program, and he did all these things, and he got kids out, and man, it is something over there now from what he's done. And now Jackson Williamson is over there to help them run that thing. Had a pretty good quarterback last year, by the way.
Yeah, they had Cal King last year, and he's an out Presbyterian college.
That's right.
Sadly, his season was cut short with injury last year.
Sure.
I was told if he hadn't gotten injured, he probably would have gone to an FCS school, but injury, PC, still a good school.
Just a note here about Cal King. You know that his grandfather, a guy named Keith Richardson, was one of the greatest coaches ever in South Carolina down at Clinton. He's a Hall of Famer. He won bunches of games and some state championships at Clinton, so there's some bloodline there coming on through. But now everybody, West Side is not going to sneak up on anybody.
No, not at all.
And I've not seen them, so I don't know what's there.
Well, as you said, Jackson's out there now. And if you've been following Westside, they have had probably the best summer you could have as a high school program. They won the Auburn 7-on-7, which is a national passing league tournament where they played teams from all over the Southeast.
Yeah.
Colquitt County from Georgia, who has won the Class 6A title down there, coached by former Hoover coach Rush Probst. And that I heard that was a stellar matchup offensively. Westside beat them in 7-on-7.
Yeah.
They then went on to win the Palmetto 7-on-7 clash at Burns, where they beat Burns.
They beat Burns 7-on-7, yeah.
And for anyone that know, 7-on-7 is basically a skeleton drill. There's no linemen, no real heavy tackling. It's a chance for quarterbacks and skill guys to work on their passing routes and conditioning. So take that for what it's worth, but it's a win in competition for them. They also won a few lineman challenges, and they've had a pretty good jamboree and scrimmage season. Of course, they returned Matthew Martin at wide receiver, who is a stellar wide receiver.
Big guy, isn't he?
About 6'1", so yeah, pretty big guy.
Okay, I thought they had a 6'4" or 5 guy out there.
They do that.
Okay.
That is Drake Thomas.
Okay.
He's another big guy. But the one to watch will be tight end Antonio Lomax. He really caught some eyes this year. About 6'4", about 230 pounds. It's only his second year playing football, so he's still learning.
Okay.
But he I think can create a lot of matchups for them in the passing game. The thing for Westside, two things. One, they lost some really good players on defense. Tim Merriweather being one of them. How are they going to be able to replace those guys? Also, their offensive line is not the biggest group in the world. They're a little undersized. So how do they go about navigating that, especially when they go against teams with bigger guys like Hillcrest and Greenwood?
That will, as much as anything, will affect the running game.
Yes.
And I don't know about their running game.
Let me pull his name up for you because for some reason it has escaped me at the moment.
Okay. And in the meantime, I will try to just get on. Westside used to be a team that had great kickers too, and those things now I don't know anymore about those. But okay.
Their kicking game will probably be. I haven't heard if it's been decided yet. I honestly think that'll probably take a game or two for them to get that figured out, as it will, because you never really know how a kicker does until he goes.
Well, I know, yeah. Yeah, I had two sons who'd played, and both of them kicked out at Westside in the old days. And one of them was the first soccer-style kicker in this part of the country outside of Greenwood. And I built goalposts out of bamboos in the backyard. And we back then was kicking tees we used, and we used a 2x4. And he kicked off of that. And he wanted to kick at Westside. And he actually was the freshman kicker one year at Clemson, but I won't go into all of that about the classroom, but that kind of affected his football career.
But back to Westside. Their running back this year is going to be senior Quinn Wright, 5'9", about 180 pounds, so pretty good size.
He's a pretty good guy, though, isn't he?
He was good last year for him. Probably their best offensive lineman will be tackle Israel Robinson.
What size to him?
Let me pull him up for you. He is about 6'3", 235 pounds. So for a high schooler,
that's not bad.
Pretty big.
Right, yeah.
But the rest of the line is going to be, they're going to look small against some of the bigger teams that come in.
So they got to out-quick them if they can.
They're going to have to be, I'd see a lot of quick passing routes, a lot of anything to utilize their speed advantage they may have on some teams. So, but for West Side fans, I do think they will have a chance to compete for a region title this year.
Okay.
Greenwood is a little bit down. They lost some big players from last year, including receiver Mock Adams and current defensive back and current Clemson Tiger Caleb Chalmers. Two guys that really set the tone for them on both sides of the ball. They're going to have to go replace them. As you know, Woodmont, Easley, they're going to do their thing.
Yeah.
Probably look to compete for a playoff spot as well as Greenwood. But Westside, Hillcrest, Greenwood, that could be a 3-team race for region title.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for this year early on.
Okay. Let's move on now to whether you would like to go with, we got Wren and Powdersville, Palmetto, BHP, and, of course, Crescent. Did I leave out anybody? Boy, I'd hate to.
Did you mention Palmetto?
Palmetto, yes, I did.
Okay, I think you got everybody. We got.
By the way, Palmetto's girls basketball coach, neighbor down on the corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to go say hello to him as well. Then.
It's a her.
Her, that's
right.
Yeah.
That's more fun anyway.
Oh yeah. Let's go to 3A. Let's start.
Okay.
Let's start with the Bears. They're always probably one of the more vocal fan bases around here.
They always have been, even back in the days that weren't that good.
But that's the fun of high school football to me, is that you always have those really fun fan bases that are always there.
Yeah.
They're always supporting them, and it's that community interest that really makes high school what it is.
One of the great things about towns that have only one school, they can all rally around that, and there are still a lot of towns like that.
Are you trying to make a tease for what was trying to?
What
they tried to get done earlier this year.
No, I'm not. I'm not making a tease for it, Lake. But I was not against it. By the way, I was not one way or another. But
I wasn't either. I thought the consolidation idea could work if done correctly.
Yeah.
It's just they would have had one shot to get it right.
Yeah.
But that's another story for another day.
That's right. Yeah, that's when we get into the mostly sports talk part. Maybe it's not all sports.
But yeah, we can get started with the Bears.
Okay.
What questions do you have about the Bears?
Well, I don't know anything about them. I know they had a couple of rough scrimmages.
They have not had the best preseason. They played Hillcrest, and a comeback fell short 19-14 in a scrimmage. So, not too bad, but they fell 19-0 and had to score 14 to make it look respectable in a scrimmage.
They've always had some real good skill people.
Yes. They lost to Hannah in a scrimmage.
Yeah.
They did win the Anderson County Jamboree game, though. That was a 28-7 win for them.
But they were at Crescent, was it?
They were playing. I believe they were playing Powdersville.
Okay.
So,
and that's a 2A school.
Yeah,
right?
team
this
from
year.
classification down.
Yeah.
So, but they do return a lot of guys from last year's team that finished tied for second in the region. They should have a very good defense again, but their stars are going to be on the offensive line. C.J. Palmer, Zach McIntosh are the big guys to look for. Palmer's 6'5" and about 320 pounds. Very large man. And,
for a class, for a 3A, that's extremely large.
That's big for 4A and big.
Yeah, it is.
And then Zach McIntosh is a young man who's starting to get some interest from schools like Wake Forest, Georgia Southern, places like that. They do return probably one of the better athletes in the county in Jawan Abney at running back. He's very good at going out and catching passes as well. Really, it's going to be a lot like every other BHP team. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try and pound it, eat the clock, and then hit you on a few play action passes. That's Russell Blackston's forte as a former offensive lineman at Westside, I believe.
Yeah, he was.
That's what he likes to do, and that's what they're going to do at BHP. Yeah. And they have a shot this year to, especially with Wren, Daniel, and some other teams having to replace a lot.
And Seneca replaced a coach, and
one thing that's helping Seneca is they returned 16 starters from a season ago, and they're coach was an assistant last year. So
Sure, yeah. So he's part of the system already.
so,
Yeah. Is he going to keep the same offense defense type look that he did at Seneca from in the past?
Yes, they are not
Turner.
changing much of anything.
Yeah, his guy's name's Turner.
Yes, that's Brett Turner, and his son Elijah is the quarterback. And
Yeah. Okay.
he passed for over 2,000 yards last year. So
Right.
I'm glad we brought up Seneca because early on, that Seneca BHP game in late October, the winner of that could possibly be a de facto region championship game because both those schools return a lot of players from last year. A lot of really talented players are on those teams.
And good coaching.
And great coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a can't miss game that I can project in late August, it's that one because that one has all the makings to be a very entertaining ball game.
Now, do you go to games on Friday nights, or do you stay in the office and take?
Oh, I'm out on the field with the guys covering games.
Okay.
That's one thing I like about this job. I'm not in an office very much. I hate office life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be. That'll probably be a game I go to.
Sure. That's what. Yeah.
But yeah, BHP. They're going to be very solid. They're going to be very fundamental, and.
Sounds like you could have said that the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's one of those teams that never really change much.
Right.
The jerseys change.
They hit hard.
Yes.
They run hard. Yeah.
And I'm sure if you've had to go and play down there, probably one of the hardest places to play for a visiting team.
Yeah, I've broadcast many a game out of there.
It is.
So, yeah.
It is rough on visiting teams down there.
I guess my good friend Joel Kay will be doing that this year. Under the new radio setup, I think he is still going to be doing it. You know Joel?
I have not met him yet.
You need to meet Joel. He's one of the really good guys in the broadcast field. He is a born and raised Belton guy, been broadcasting BHP games for right at 40 years. And you need to avail yourself of his knowledge maybe. Down at WRIX, you might give him a call. I think he is still. They don't call it that anymore. RX. There's a new.
No, I think since they changed it over to a full-time old
gospel.
They're gospel station.
They're gospel there. They have an AM station that run oldies. That's the old WANS, my old radio station, and they had been carrying West Side games for 1,000 years. And I don't know if under the setup, if Greg and those are going to do those games over there, or not. I don't know.
From what I've heard, they will still be doing those games, but
fantastic.
I guess it's one of those things. They're still going to do the games. I'm
not
entirely sure what frequency they will be broadcasting.
Well, they'll probably here's what they will do. They'll do 1280 AM and then 107.7, I believe, FM. That small low power FM station that's attached with ANS AM. So that will actually help their coverage because. I won't go into all of that's not sports there. As an old radio guy, I just anyway. All right, let's move on to some of the other guys in the county.
We can let's keep it simple. Just go in alphabetical order. We'll go with the Palmetto Mustangs.
All right,
the pride of Williamston,
and Pelzer,
and West Pelzer.
Yeah.
But yeah, just looking at Palmetto, I'm not sure if anyone's noticed, but when they moved up to Class 3A back in 2012, since then, what place do you think they have finished in every year in the region?
Last.
6th.
Oh.
Every year.
Is that 6 out of 6?
No, that's 6 out of 8. They've been able to.
They're 8 in there? Okay.
They've been able to beat West Oak and Walhalla pretty consistently.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, but yes, 6th every year. It's
okay.
Uncanny. They're the only team in the county that has finished in the same spot the past 3 seasons in the region, in their respective region standings.
Okay.
I thought that was odd. So I talked to Coach Doug Shaw about that, and now he feels like he has a group of players in there.
Is this his second or third year?
I believe this is his third.
Okay.
He now says he finally has a group of guys, and they have a mentality and a philosophy set up that they want.
Okay.
And if you believe how they did in the scrimmages and the jamborees, this could be a year where they make a push for a playoff spot.
Great. Yeah.
Probably a 4th seed, maybe a 3 seed if they're able to pull off an upset.
Okay.
But they're running more of a spread offense now this year. Shaw